It's recording.
Thank you, counsel. I'd like to entertain a motion to come out of executive, please.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
Second, I have a motion on the floor by Second Chair Red Eagle, seconded by Councilwoman Foreman. Without discussion, call for the question.
Councilwoman Harlan?
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn?
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle?
Yes.
Councilman Rebar?
Yes.
Chairman Waller?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray? Yes. Motion passed.
I'd like to entertain any motions coming out of executive, council.
Chairman, I have a motion.
Yes, Councilwoman Foreman.
I'll just read the resolution. The Osage Minerals Council was elected to carry out the business of the Osage Minerals Estate, and in that regard, it is essential to stay informed of U.S. federal government policies and laws, cutting-edge technology, and new industry trends for the development of our minerals, and therefore believes it to be in the best interest of said estate and head right holders to study the most promising CO2 sources and what equipment is required to capture and transport CO2 and what is the estimated cost to build, and furthermore to determine the other challenges or barriers to building facilities. Therefore be it resolved, the Osage Minerals Council hereby approves Councilmember Susan Foreman to apply for the EMPD grant with the assistance of the Osage Nation Planning Office and Office of Self-Governance to determine the feasibility of building CO2 enhanced oil recovery surface infrastructure in Osage County. Said EMPD grant shall be entitled Osage CO2 EOR Surface Infrastructure Feasibility Study. I make a motion that we pass this resolution.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Second, I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Foreman, seconded by Second Chair Red Eagle. Discussion, please. Hearing none, call for the question.
Councilman Redcorn?
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle?
Yes.
Councilman Rebar?
Yes.
Chairman Waller?
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman?
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray? Yes. Councilwoman Harlan?
No.
Motion passed.
Council, I'd like to entertain another motion out of executive, please, at this time.
Yes, Chairman, I have a motion to be made.
Councilwoman Gray.
And I'm going to read my motion into the record.
Please.
Whereas the Osage Nation Minerals Council was elected to carry out the business of the Osage Mineral Estate and believes it to be in the best interest of said estate and head right holder to plug abandoned orphan wells. The Osage Mineral Council has successfully implemented the priorities of the orphan well plugging program to address emergency wells that pose a risk to human health and/or the environment due to the identified leak, which have been prioritized according to the severity of the emergency. Due to the need to reconcile funds and for bookkeeping to be brought up to date, the actual well plugging was suspended for a short time from late July to September. The field inspectors continue to inspect wells for future plugging, and the bookkeeping has been brought up to date. Therefore, be it resolved, the Minerals Council hereby authorizes the resumption of the well plugging activities. 2, the chairperson of the Osage Minerals Council is hereby authorized to sign this resolution and all supporting documents. That is my motion.
I need a second, please.
Second.
Second, I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Gray, seconded by Councilwoman Foreman. Discussion? Councilman Rivard.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman. I'd like to make a recommendation before the vote that we change the language in paragraph 5 to include something along the lines of, and for other reasons, because we didn't just suspend operations because of trying to figure out where we were on the funding. That was a very major point, a significant reason, but it wasn't the only reason. So I'd just like to add, and other reasons. There was other reasons that we suspended the plug-in operation during that meeting that we decided to do that. So I would just like to add some type of language that would include other reasons as well. Without going into any detail, I just wonder if we could throw that in there and other reasons. That's all.
Chairman,
Yes,
I'm
motion.
going to decline because it doesn't change the intent of the therefore be it resolved. And what it does is resume the well plugging activities, and I'll stand with my resolution.
Chairman, to that point,
Yes,
it sounds like from our last discussion in executive that we're all in favor of resuming the program. It's just that the reason why it was suspended is just a little misleading, and I'd just like to describe what the actual truth. We suspended this, and if you want to go into it in open session, fine, we'll go into all this all over again. But I'd like to just include other reasons, because there were other reasons that we discussed in executive, and if you want to throw them out there, we will. But I just a suggestion that we include other reasons. Thank you.
thank you, Councilwoman Foreman.
Oh, thank you, Chairman. I wouldn't have any problem including that and would revise my second to approve including those two words. But I also have a question for Councilmember
That's a
Gray.
point of order. I called the one who makes the motion first. And if they change it, then I call upon my second.
Okay, but I do have a comment. I did not hear, did we include, that was rather lengthy resolution. Did you, Councilmember Gray, did you include anything regarding receiving projected costs of wells before work begins? For the
No.
council to receive projected costs of wells. That could just be an in-house administrative thing, I guess.
I have to.
That will be.
I agree that
may
that's in-house. Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Lynn's going to be sending you the short range plan to enhance that, as second chair talked about. I'm going to ask for it as soon as we get done with this meeting.
Okay. I'm good.
Thank you. Councilman Redcorn.
Thank you, Chair. Just quick comment. I don't know why we discuss, I don't know what. Thank you, Second Chair. Thank you, Chairman. I really don't know why we discussed well plugging in executive. I don't think there's anything to hide. So whatever some of the questions are, that's fine. I think we ought to resume the program, and I think we need to quit having all these talks in executive session. We need to let our shareholders know what we're up to. So that's my 2 cents on the well plugging being an executive. It doesn't need to be.
I put it on the regular agenda, and without even asking me, it was moved into executive. So I had it out in the agenda. Yeah,
Well,
it was.
Yeah, there's not, again, well plugging, there's no secret. It's tailored off of the orphan well program, which is no secret. It's a government grant, which you can't be secretive about. You've got to you've got to describe everything to the public, since it's taxpayer dollars that are paying for all that. The tax money that's coming from the U.S. government to plug wells is taxpayer dollars. So there's nothing secretive about this whole program. So if we talk about well plugging, we need to be talking about an open session.
Yeah, just call for the question. Yeah.
Call for the question.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray. Yes. Councilwoman Harlan,
yes,
Councilman Redcorn.
Yes.
Motion passed.
Council, I'd like to entertain the other motion coming out of executive, please.
Mr. Chairman, I have a motion.
Councilwoman Harlan.
I'd like to make a motion that we set a special meeting to discuss the possible request for amendments to the 1906 Act to allow shareholders to obtain head rights that have gone outside the Osage Nation.
I need a second, please.
Second.
I second.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Harlan, seconded by Councilwoman Foreman. Any discussion?
I was the second on that one.
I didn't hear you.
Chairman, I got discussion.
Yes. Second Chair Red Eagle.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's been talked about many times, you know, and it's a good idea. But the second Mineral Council, the solicitor, I think, came to us and said, when you get these head rights back, however that process is done, but we need a place to take them, you know, and that's been discussed before. We need some kind of an account. I just asked if that takes an account or some place to put these head rights, and whenever that time comes to be considered. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Any other discussion? Call for the question.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Gray. Yes. Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes,
Councilman Redcorn.
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Council, any other resolutions that we need to take at this time out of executive? I'd like to complete our agenda today.
Chairman, I make a motion we approve the meeting minutes.
I have one item before then, sir.
Okay.
I have auditor, Councilwoman Foreman.
Oh, well, that's another one that we've still not received the rankings for the auditor. But for
Yes,
the
ma'am.
record, I will just reiterate why this is so important. I think that our discussion today with the superintendent totally reveals why we need to have an auditor go in there and look at their records as provided under our settlement. And the quicker we can get those rankings, the quicker we can hire an independent auditor and start auditing and looking at how things are accounted for over at the BIA offices. So could we please get those rankings released? Would Chairman please contact procurement and have them release those rankings for the independent auditor that we resolved to hire actually late last year, I think, and then we got the request for proposal out in the springtime and took a little while to get all the ratings in, but they're in and they've been in for a while, so we need to get those rankings so we can hire an auditor.
Thank you, Council. Councilman Redcorn.
Thank you, Chair. This is something I voted for. I support. I didn't bring the motion up, but I do support it. You know, things that I do, I got to drive it. You know, if it's not getting driven, who sponsored this resolution?
I think I
Councilwoman
did.
Foreman.
Councilperson Foreman. Okay. So I would, again, I think I said this in the last meeting, recommend getting over to the procurement office and chatting with them. I do that on a daily basis and try to figure out where these things are.
Right, we had that conversation and
Yes.
Chairman was going to try to put a fire under him, I believe.
Well, I guess my question is, can you give them a call as well? I know the people.
Well, you know, we got into this last time, Councilmember Redcorn, and I'd rather not drag us through this again. But I was told that they were ready to be released, but they could not release them to me. I have, I hear what you're saying. I've already done that. I've done it more than once. So we
Okay.
really need our chairman to have them release it.
Okay. Because we've got, like I said, we've got projects all over the spectrum. And when you do a project, you gotta push it. And
Well, perhaps
if I can
Chairman Waller
finish,
can.
if I can finish, I mean, that's the way. If we need to do it differently, and we get to a certain point, and we start asking our chairman and our staff to start driving things, we probably need to sit down and visit a procedure to do that. But if we have, things that we're specifically pushing as a council person, I think it's on us as a council person to go ahead and push those items if we sponsor it. That's
Mayor?
my 2 cents. If it's dragging its feet somewhere, then it's my responsibility to get in there and try to figure out why it's not moving forward.
Yes,
Thank you.
Councilwoman
Can I
Foreman, then
respond?
Councilwoman
Yes.
Gray.
Well, and you may recall that we do have a resolution that everything goes through the chairman, and this has gone through the chairman multiple times. I keep putting it on there because we need to get it addressed.
It's true.
I do have to entertain, and Councilwoman Gray, that was addressed in the May meeting. The council's consensus was keep it in-house. I never stopped any of these numbers coming down, but if you're there every day, have them call me, sir, and we'll take care of this. Councilwoman Gray.
Yes, I forgot, I mentioned I would make a motion earlier. Like we said out of the White House meeting, that it was requested by Secretary Holland and Assistant Secretary of the Interior, Brian Newland, if you have any issues with that, that any tribe is having, and so we do have a list of things that we have issues with. And we talked about this earlier today. So I would like to make the motion that after Thanksgiving, I'm gonna maybe put it this way, that we prepare a letter to Secretary Holland and Assistant Secretary of the Interior, Brian Newland, to invite them to come to Osage to discuss the oil and gas issues that we are having here at Osage. And I think we should invite Congress and Office of the Chiefs for that meeting.
Didn't we already do that?
No, well, we discussed it and it hasn't been done, but there was a specific, said, get that letter in immediately. So I am reiterating that we get this letter. We talked about going up there, meeting with them when Mr. Newland was being vetted, and so held off on it then. But now it was specifically asked. She wants those letters of invitation to come to that tribe, and then we can talk specifically about ours. We need to just get this done. So I'll stop because I know you're writing the motion. But anyway, to direct that letter, and we can have it prepared right after Thanksgiving.
Yes. I need a second.
I'll second.
Thank you.
I have a motion on the floor by Councilwoman Gray, seconded by Councilman Redcorn. Call for the question.
Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
I'm sorry, could you repeat the motion?
prepare a letter to Secretary Holland and Assistant Secretary of the Interior, Brian Newland, to discuss oil and gas issues that Osages are having here at Osage.
No, invite them,
Invite
yeah,
them here.
to discuss, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gray, yes. Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar.
Yes.
Motion passes.
I make the motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
Did you already do that?
I have a motion on the floor by Councilman Gray, seconded by Second Chair Red Eagle.
Discussion?
Discussion, please.
I'm gonna have to vote no, and hopefully, maybe we can actually correct it right after this, but there's something, it refers to, pour space as floor, FLOOR
I
space.
saw that.
Yeah, that probably needs to get corrected, but, I guess we'll have to make a motion after we approve it to get it corrected.
Yes, that's correct under this order that we have here.
Can I
Otherwise,
can I
it
change
has
my
a-
motion? Do you want me to change, I can make that correction in my motion to correct the spelling of
Yes,
or space?
and then call for the question.
I second it.
Okay.
Second, are you okay with that?
Yes, second, yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, Chairman.
Will you call for the question?
Okay.
I already have that response, yes.
Councilwoman Foreman,
Yes,
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar,
Yes.
Chairman Waller.
Yes,
Motion passes.
Chairman, make a motion, we adjourn.
second,
Second Chair, who got the second?
Susan Foreman.
Me. Doesn't
Second
matter
Chair.
to me. I don't need.
Thank you. I have a motion on the floor by Second Chair Red Eagle, seconded by Councilwoman Foreman. Call for the question.
Councilwoman Gray,
Yes.
Councilwoman Harlan,
Yes. Yes.
Councilman Redcorn,
Yes.
Second Chair Red Eagle,
Yes.
Councilman Rebar, Chairman Waller,
Yes.
Councilwoman Foreman.
Yes,
Motion passes.
Before I adjourn the meeting, I have to request Anna, have Mr. Lynn send us out an email of his next projected wells for plugging. See, Second Chair said we have some permits that he's applying for. Have those sent out to our council today.
Okay.
Thank you, council. We're adjourned.
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you all.
Another